Hey everybody, Jake and Gino here, and today we are talking mindset. The mindset of the rich, the mindset of the middle class, and the mindset of the poor. And don't get it twisted. G-Dad, there are some distinct differences here.
And Jake, it's really important. First of all, if you didn't watch last week's video, go back, watch the skills to learn. It was part 2. Once you learn those skills, you start developing the mentality. We're not talking about how much money is in the bank because there are a lot of people who have 7, 8-figure earners. Doesn't mean they're rich. We're talking about mentality here. It's really important. By the way, if you like the content, smash that like button down below. Subscribe to the Jake and Gino channel. Really important that you get this content every week because we are creating people with financial intelligence. Because as we like to say, Jake and Gino, people with financial intelligence can change the world for the better. Now, here's how you can start changing your mentality between the poor, the middle class, and the rich. It's about mindset. The rich have a growth mindset. They're about learning. They're about extreme ownership. The poor and the middle class, they tend to make excuses. Now, how do I know that? I was stuck in the middle class years ago. I was at a restaurant. I owned the restaurant. Every week it was the same thing. I was blaming my situation on others, whether it was the economy, whether it was the president, whether it was people taking my jobs. No, a rich person with a rich person's mentality takes extreme ownership. They know that they have a growth mindset, that they need to learn other skills. It's great when people say, your attitude is part of your altitude. They say, if you have a great attitude, it's going to take you up really high. Yeah, you need that attitude. It's really important, but you also need to learn skills. And rich people know that. They adopt a growth mindset.
Gino, I like to call it being a responsibility junkie.
Yes.
You need to take full responsibility for everything that comes into your ecosphere, whether it's part of your business, part of your family, whatever the case may be. Take ownership, period, and then figure it out. Look, here's the deal. If we're being real with it, something could have come into your world and happened to you, but it's how you mentally perceive that. If you say, "Oh, I'm a victim," that's the victim mentality. You see, I'm shrieking back. You start running away from it and pointing the finger. It doesn't matter. Take responsibility for it and come up with a solution. We have an always never list, and a big part of that within the Jake and Gino company is, look, you need to take responsibility for what comes into your life and be solutions oriented. That's the difference.
I love that, Jake. Let's break that word responsibility down because I'm a big Stephen Covey fan. I've been a big fan of him for the last few weeks. I've been reading him. Responsibility is the ability to respond. Write this down, everybody. There is a stimulus and a response. You get stimulated by something. Jake says something and he triggers me. That's the stimulus.
Getting triggered. Don't go woke on me now.
Now, there's how do I respond? There is a space in between there. I have the ability to respond one of two ways. I can ask Jake, "Hey, Jake, why'd you say that? What's going on?" Or I can punch Jake. There's so many different ways that I can respond, right? As a rich person, you sit back with that rich person's mentality and you assess the situation and you ask questions. You're able to respond. You're able to control your emotions. We're all dealt a set of cards, right? We all each have a hand. How we play that hand differentiates someone with a poor mentality, a middle-class mentality, and a rich mentality. The rich really have a concrete, solid plan. They create goals. They know what they're working towards. They're focusing on something. And more importantly, they're doing activities that generate revenue. They're not wasting their time. They're not sitting by the water cooler and having a blast and fooling around during the day. When they're at work, they're at work. When they're playing, they're playing. They're extremely focused on the task at hand.
Gino, it's very important what you just said. It's self-control, right? Whether it's self-control and discipline if I'm at work, whatever the case may be. But also you talked about being triggered. Here's the thing, and it may be hurtful, but look, we're just trying to bring it to you raw here. Higher emotions equal lower intelligence. If someone says something to you and you start getting worked up, your brain's not operating at peak capacity, okay? And you're just going to do something irrational. So you need to be in control. Self-control and discipline is key to this.
And what I like to clarify that is higher intelligent emotions. We can have higher emotions, but when we have these emotions that we can't control, and rich people, we all have an ego, but I think those who have a wealthy mindset extract the ego from every situation and take a look at it objectively. And they don't use just their emotions, because you need emotions to do something that you love. But you also need logic in every situation. You need to use your logical part of your brain. And then once you figure out and say, this is great, you do it. That's really important. One other thing, be careful about the words you use. Rich people with a rich person's mentality is, they don't say I can't afford it. They say, how can I afford it? They're asking themselves better questions, which is really important. Person with a poor mentality is going to say, oh, I can't do it, or I should do it, or, no, it's how can I do it? Really, really important. A big lesson that I learned from Rich Dad is it's too expensive. No, well, how can I afford it? That's really important when you're discussing with a rich person's mentality.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, Gino.
And I think, Jake, one other thing, there's so many. I'm going to leave a list down below. There's so many different things that you can talk about. I think one thing that people who have a rich person's mentality, they have a great discipline and they have amazing habits. If you can set up your discipline where you're doing things and you create those habits, most of us are at this baseline level. We're at something called homeostasis. Basically, you're hanging out, your body is normal. To get to that next level, you need to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, right? And you need to have that discipline to create those great habits. All you need to do is improve a little bit every day. And a rich person understands that. They don't have to go on a New Year's resolution and do a crash diet and try to get better all at once. Those little steps each day by creating those amazing habits will get you to that next level. And I think that's what rich people are saying. And let me end this, Jake, by saying what my big epiphany was when rich people are investing versus middle class versus the poor. Rich people, they invest for the long term. They are not saving money. They're saving money to purchase assets, which is really, really important. When I was in the middle class, I always say to myself, I'm going to put more money in my 401k to save for my retirement. I'm going to put money in my Roth IRA, and I'm going to put my money in my education IRAs to save for my kids'
those college funds, right?
Yeah. That's a mistake. Rich people understand that they need to buy assets to pay for that event, because when that event is over, you still have the asset. But when my kids go to college, if I have it in a savings account, that savings account is depleted. So rich people learn skills and they learn that they need to save money to buy assets.
Hey, and good luck keeping up with the college inflation. If you look at inflation since like 2000, one of the biggest run-ups has been in the cost of tuition. So if you think you're going to save a couple pennies, every year to get caught up with that, it's going to be a challenge.
One more thing, Jake. Rich people have their money work hard for them, while people work hard for their money. That's really important. I need to read that again because that was my epiphany a few years back.
Soldiers, baby.
Rich people have their money work hard for them, while poor people work hard for their money. It's just a paradigm shift, everybody out there. Hope you all enjoy this video. Click on that like button down below. Next week, we're going to be talking about good money habits, how you can start adopting that rich person's mentality. Jake, awesome. Thanks. We'll see y'all next week.
Thanks, Gino.